We're Pete and Hayley, and last year we decided to stop dreaming and start working towards a life off-grid and a thriving community of like-minded people to build it with. Our first task is to build a home on wheels that will take us to explore other off-grid projects and learn how it all works before putting down roots on our own piece of land and making that dream a reality. Last time we got lucky and found the exact parts we needed to upgrade the suspension on our newly appointed tow vehicle Moose. So in this episode, we're fitting him out with everything he'll need to pull our future tiny home. I don't like this part.
What part?
The part where I'm completely overwhelmed and don't know what I'm doing. I think there's just a few questions that we need to answer.
Mm-hmm.
1, what does all of that stuff do? 2, what are we going to do about that axle? Are we going to keep it and swap it in? Or are we just going to take the airbag suspension off? How are we going to map the placement of all of the brackets that we've taken off onto Moose?
These are really good questions. We haven't been able to find exactly what the gear ratio is of this, but it's not going to be the same, and from the research that I managed to do online, it's geared lower, which means we'll lose the top end off of our truck.
Oh, it probably can't go very fast anyway.
We probably can't afford to do that. Yeah, I think we just keep ours and just accept that our brakes won't be as good as they possibly could be, but maybe in the future we can look at upgrading the brakes if we need to then.
Okay, well that's one question answered.
Yeah. What was the other questions? What does all that stuff do? I don't know. I'm going to take all the bits apart and look for part numbers and see if I can learn what they do. Regarding the placement of where we're going to mount everything to our chassis, our rails have repeating bolt holes that are symmetrical on both sides. So what we could do is just base it off of like one pattern of holes. Like if we can get one thing bolted up to a hole that's the same on each side, then we should have it the same on both sides. So basically, this point here sat above the centre of the axle, so we can just use that as our starting off point if you want to, and see where the hanger and stuff all lines up with it. Yeah?
But first, we need to get it all off the axle. Ooh.
That was well heavy. Cool.
I think a power wash would be nice.
Yeah. It looks in pretty good condition though, doesn't it really? Most of it.
Yeah.
Better than ours. Now we got to get these bolts out here, well these nuts off of these big U-bolts that hold it basically all together. Cool. Ow!
Yeah, that worked.
Cool, so it might take a little while, but we just have to oil and then
Smoke it.
get some heat on it. The nuts are off. You have a big hammer.
I haven't named this one.
You want to name it now?
Bernie.
Okay.
Nope. No way.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Cool. Whew.
That's not going to come out until we pick it back up again.
No. We'll just do this side for now. Oh dear. I've been hitting this for a while and it's not really showing any signs of moving. And now I've hit it so hard that it's like compressing and deforming to the point where it might not actually fit through the hole anymore. Oh, things have happened.
Oh yeah, I think you might just be able to finagle it. Well, it's free from there.
Cool, that's well heavy. Yay, there we go. These mounting bits, they're welded on. That might be interesting.
Yeah, that's it.
Ingenious. Why is it stuck now? Come on now.
The whole thing's just twisting. Whoa! I think that's it.
So close. Ah! I win. So now we can see if these 4 holes line up with the 4 holes from our U-bolts.
It's been a while since you've been under here.
I know.
Too long.
No.
At least a couple of months.
Oh good, they're easy. Oh good, that's a relief.
I didn't enjoy that. Did it even turn?
Yeah?
Oh.
Yeah, it worked.
Oh.
Okay, 2 more. Ready?
I don't like it.
You want to swap places?
No.
There we go. Oh. Oh, things are happening.
Oh.
You just got to lift it up a little bit so we can get the drill out of the way. There we go.
Oh.
And there we go. That's our anti-bolt roll bar swinging around.
Are you okay?
I'm tired.
Uh-huh. You can't, oh.
So the other side does line up quite well, but this side is a fair bit off. And these brackets here that hold the U-bolts, it's kind of hard to see, but they're actually angled outwards. So it might be quite tricky to get it all to line up. Progress update. We've finished stripping everything off of our donut axle.
Yep, both sides have come off and the anti-roll bar. And we just ended up cutting through those U-bolts in the end because it turns out you're supposed to replace them anyway. So that went a lot quicker.
That was much easier.
So we've had some really good news after a bit of back and forth with the DVSA about the wheelbase change. First of all, they said they don't care how we produce the wheelbase. So if we cut the chassis in 2 places and move everything up, or if we detach the axle from where it is and move that up and then cut the chassis at the back, they don't care. So then we replied and said, do you actually need written permission from Mercedes? Because so many people have told us that we do. And they got back to us and said, because the truck is so old that it won't have EBS, that they don't need any permission from Mercedes. So we've decided that we're not going to be cutting the chassis in 2 places and welding it together. We're just going to put our new airbags further up and then move the axle up to meet it, and then we'll chop the back after. And I think we're going to leave the chassis long until we're absolutely certain that we've fit it all correctly and everything's good.
Woohoo! I'm very relieved. That's really, really cool. So a few of you have asked, why don't we just keep Moose the same length as it is, because then we'll have all this extra room for storage and stuff. But we want to keep Moose as compact as possible because it kind of gives us the best chance of being able to use it day to day. Like, it will be quite useful to have a vehicle that we can still go to the shops and stuff without being massive.
And we're only going as short as the shortest option that Mercedes made in the 814, as per their manual. We also went shopping.
Yeah, we got new airbags and we've ordered new
Spring clamps, because yeah, I got impatient with those. They were very expensive. U-bolts were like 50 quid each as well. I have a fun idea.
Okay.
This bracket holds the bump stop for the axle, which means that the centre of this should be the centre of our wheel.
Yeah.
Which means if we find the exact centre of that and the exact centre of the front wheel, which is marked by this little point
Yeah.
on the Mercedes logo,
Yeah.
we can measure out our wheelbase, our new wheelbase, and attach that bracket.
Cool.
And then we'll have something to work off.
Yeah, that's super exciting. There you go, one bump stop. So we just measured from the centre of that front axle along the chassis rails to the new wheelbase length of 3.15 metres and marked it with some tape. And now we'll take our bump stop, we'll line it up somewhere around the tape, and hopefully some of these holes in the chassis will line up with this, and then we can reference it the same on both sides because it's symmetrical, and then we don't have to worry about anything being out of whack because we don't want to be like crabbing down the road. Let's see. So we've got this hole here that we can work from, and this mark here on the tape, that's what we measured as our new wheelbase.
So it'll be slightly longer.
Ever so slightly. It's probably good to have slightly longer than, because if we're shorter then we're going to run into issues.
We'll be safe.
Yeah. Now that we know where that's going to be, we can see where our trailing arm's going to come up to. Make sure it's not going to, I don't know, cause any issues. So it's going to be roughly here, but attached to this side of the chassis. So when we remove our hydraulic legs, they're going to go on the trailer. We can then move the fuel tank back to its original position and it'll be fine. Yeah, it'll fit perfectly because it was designed to be like that. Cool. Okay, so what do we do now?
Everything needs kind of cleaning up.
And also we got to detach our axle. Ow! Hot washers are falling on me. Why were they so much easier to get out than those big ones? These have been in there longer. Ah, there's a nut on there. Looks like there's maybe a bolt that goes through all these leaf springs.
Oh.
I'm not even bothering to try and take it off without heating it up first now. There's no point. It's so much easier. It does make me want one of those induction heater nut heater thingies, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're expensive.
And hopefully soon we'll move past the stage of taking stuff apart.
Yeah.
I thought we were already past that stage, but... So now we can see what we're working with. We can see that the original U-bolts, the path they take, doesn't line up with the bracket that holds the airbags in place. So these brackets here that's welded to the axle, we're going to have to like cut a bit of it away so that our new U-bolts can clear those brackets that aren't being used now anyway, and then bolt into our airbag hanger thingy. But it's still, you know, just a couple of hours of cutting and grinding and sorting it out, and yeah, that'll be all right.
We're raffling off this F20 Max e-bike from Fafries, who are sponsoring this video. This is the F20 Max. It's a fat tyre cargo style e-bike. It has a powerful 500 watt motor can do over 25 kilometers an hour. And if you don't ride it like a lunatic, like Pete does, you'll easily get 60 miles out of the charge.
Its fat tyres, suspension and seat shock absorber make it great for any terrain.
And it's really comfortable. It has a large LCD display for key information like speed and battery charge, big disc brakes all around, and integrated lights for safety. We've had a few offers from e-bike sponsors, but we've always turned them down because we like products with a bit of utility. But when we saw Fafri's cargo bikes, we thought, well, that's something that we can really use.
Its heavy-duty design means it can carry 150 kilos. It has a front rack, and you can swap out this rear seat for a cargo basket too, making it a practical choice, not just for fun. Can we please go a little bit faster?
And you can win this bike, these 2 helmets, cargo bag and accessories for just £5.
Oh no, I've changed my mind, I don't want to give it away.
Can you slow down for a minute?
Yeah. So the original plan was to do a DIY or buy style video. Fafri's gave me an additional battery and the plan was to convert my mountain bike into an e-bike to see if I could build something as good for less money. And the reason it's not in this video is because it was a massive failure and I made a total death trap. It was faster, but it was not safe. My bike, and I think most mountain bikes, just aren't designed to be as sturdy and as strong as this, so it just couldn't handle the motor and the batteries, and I had to chop up the frame. It was a real hassle. I'm sure it could be done, but like this one folds up. It's just so much better. I don't think I could make one as good as this.
Or as inconspicuous.
No, the e-bike laws are kind of grey and my bike looked like I was out to cause trouble. No one really notices this, it doesn't draw attention.
So if you want to be in with a chance of winning this F20 Max,
plus all the extras,
you can enter our raffle for just £5. Or if you can't wait to win, then use our code RTG&x for 8% off of your purchase. All the links and everything you need are in the description. It's a great way to support the channel, so thank you very much in advance.
All right, hop on, let's go.
Okay.
We got adventuring to do.
Okay.
Oh gosh! Look at Moose, it's like we've gone back in time. We've moved the fuel tank, the hydraulic box is gone, the hydraulic legs have gone. Sometimes you have to move backwards to move forwards. And for those of you that have asked, we are going to be using the hydraulic legs on the trailer. So nothing's going to waste, it's all just going to get reused somewhere else. But yeah, it looks pretty cool.
These are all the components for the airbag suspension system, all laid out and ready to clean up. These were a real pain to get off. They were riveted to the old chassis and we had to drill every single rivet out with the mag drill, which took a long time.
It sucked.
It did. But yeah, it's all here. It's not really that much when you look at it like this, is it?
No.
Not a lot to it. Okay, are you ready to start cleaning?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, everything is covered in decades of old oily road scuzziness. So hopefully this will help. And then we're just going to hit it all with a wire wheel on the drill. And then we'll paint it all with black epoxy like the chassis. And it'll be really good. Something that keeps coming up in the comments is what driving license I'm going to need to tow the trailer. Technically, I only need a C1 plus E, which is up to 7.5 tons vehicle and up to 3.5 ton trailer. But because it's an articulating trailer, I would like to get trained on how to actually drive with that. So I think I'll probably go for the full C plus E, which I think was called the Class 1. I don't need to, but it's not that much more expensive to just go for the full license over the C1 plus E. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm a little bit nervous about doing it because you have to drive like full-on Arctic lorries, you know? And Hayley's not going to get her license. I don't know why. Why aren't you getting your license?
Cost.
Yeah, it is about £3,000. RTOG. Okay, I'm done. I think it helped. I can't really see. I'm very wet, so good progress.
Yep. We're ready to start fitting it. Figuring all that out.
Yeah.
How fun.
So, it's now gotten to the point where we need to figure out how to put the donor chassis airbag mounts onto our axle. I think we showed earlier, but they don't quite fit together. So we need to make some kind of adapter that will hold it all in place so that we can make the holes line up. So something that's very useful is that where Moose's anti-roll bar attaches is underneath the axle, like right in the center. So these 4 holes, where are they? These 4 holes are what the anti-roll bar connected to. So my thinking is we could use these 4 bolt holes, because they're really strong, to hold our plate in place, the adapter plate, and that'll prevent any twisting. And then basically what we'll do when that's all in place, we can put this in the right place, and then if you come back to here, these holes are slightly too small and they're angled because our U-bolts went out at an angle. So what we're going to do, we're going to take all of this leaf spring off and these spacing blocks, and then we'll have a flat plane that we can mount our mag drill to, and then we will drill through these holes, open them up to this size, and they'll be straight down and they'll line up straight with these. That's the plan. It'll all make sense as we're doing it, I promise. This is the anti-roll bar mount, and I've taken it off the other side, and we can use this now to make a pattern on the adapter plate so it all lines up perfectly.
Plate. This is 15mm flat bar. So that'll make 2 adapter plates. We'll just cut it in the middle and we'll have 1 for each side. It's real heavy.
I think it'll be strong enough.
I think so. It'll be clear why it's so thick later on, but basically it's to accommodate some bolt heads because we can't have them sticking out. It needs to be a flat bottom.
We're not quite sure the best way of getting this centered up in the plate, but this is kind of what we come up with.
It's not even close. We've managed to get this lined up in the center. It's close enough. There's probably like a mil in it. So it's clamped, and now we'll try and drill out the holes while this is in place, so it acts as a guide.
Oh yeah, that worked out really well.
Yeah. I don't know if we could have done it much better. I'd say that's right.
First kind of fit up. So I've just loosely bolted this plate underneath that we just made. So that goes on there like that. And then these are our new U-bolts, and they line up pretty much perfectly with the holes that are there. So yeah, it looks like it's all gonna work. Pretty cool, huh? So, one thing to note, if you have a look under here, right? So we've got these 2 bolts in just to hold the plate in place, but you can see they stick down quite a fair bit, and that will end up fouling on this. We were kind of hoping they would sit in this recess, but they won't. So what we're gonna have to do is recess those bolts into the plate, and that's why Haley said earlier why the plate is so thick. So we need to countersink those bolt heads.
What about the plate being thicker than the thing we took it off of? So we've added 15mm to the height.
Yeah, but there's so much adjustability in the U-bolts.
Yeah, but I just mean
won't
for
really
the
matter.
airbag and the airbag bracket, that distance will be a little bit taller. Do you think that's going to matter?
We'll find out, I suppose. But even if it is, everything's got adjustability and, like, you know, it'll be fine. We'll figure it out. It's gonna be great. That's what mousse is going to be like.
Oh, I need like some anti-vibration gloves or something.
Yeah. Slightly worried that when this bolt comes out, the spring's going to shoot down or something.
Now I'm worried.
Oh, okay, that's
It
fine.
went up, not down.
Yeah. Okay, the leaf spring isn't attached anymore. Bessie, we need Bessie.
Oh.
Thank you. It's still very attached here.
Yeah. I wonder how many bits it comes in.
Yeah, that's as far as it'll go because it's still stuck in here. Like all those layers are like stuck together.
Yeah, get it.
Shall I just hit it really hard with a hammer in different locations and see what happens?
Sure. It's free.
Yeah, okay. Done. How heavy is this then? Very?
Oh yeah.
It's a big boy. Anyone wants any leaf springs from a 1997 Mercedes 814? We have some for sale.
£1 million.
Oh man, this is well scary now. We got a flat surface, we can mount the mag drill to hopefully and then drill straight through all that.
I was concerned about how we would locate the new anti-roll bar.
Oh.
Yeah, and then the trailing arm on top of that, because it has these two locator pins.
Yeah.
So we can just measure that and maybe we drill into here
Yeah, that could be cool.
and then it will just fit
Yeah.
and then it won't twist. Yeah, that'll work.
Nice.
Is that the drill bit?
Yep, this is the drill bit.
That's large. Also, it's not long enough.
Do you reckon it's not long enough? Yeah, the mag drill's gonna struggle, isn't it? It's just one thing after another, isn't it?
Yeah.
So while we wait for the drill bit and a bunch of other stuff to arrive, I've been looking into all the gubbins that's attached to that donor chassis, the valves and all the air things, and learning about how all that works. Let me show you this thing. This is a load sensing valve and it's for the brakes. So see how it connects to the axle here, and then it comes up and then connects into this valve thingy here. So what that does is it adjusts the strength of the brakes based on how much load is on the truck. So when you're carrying more things, your brakes are stronger to help you stop. It does that by measuring how much the suspension is compressed. But when we put airbags in, that's not really going to work because the airbags are going to be set up to constantly hold the truck at the same height. And because that measures the distance between the axle and the chassis, then the brakes are never going to be adjusted depending on what the load is going to be. I hope that makes sense. So what we need to do is replace that type with a brake load sensor that checks the pressure in the airbags.
Is that what's on the other?
And that's what's on the other one, amongst some other things. So you also get leveling sensors, which as the truck gets heavier and sinks down, it'll compensate and put more air into the bags. And the same when you go around corners, it'll try and keep the truck level and stuff. So we need automatic airbag leveling valves, one for each airbag, and then we need a new brake load sensing valve.
Can we just use the ones on the donor chassis?
No, because the donor chassis comes from a newer truck and that has a lot of electrical sensors instead of mechanical ones. So it must have had some sort of body control unit that measured all this stuff and then adjust the pressure in the airbags instead. We need it to be purely mechanical, so the things that we're going to use will be basically what they use on trailers. So it just looks at the air pressure and it all adjusts off of that instead.
Well, I'm glad that we have a solution.
Yeah, it's taken me quite a while to figure all that out.
So we don't need anything from the chassis at all?
Nope. Fun, huh? So I think I've ordered everything that we need, but unfortunately that's going to have to wait until next episode because we've run out of time. If you want to be in with a chance of winning the Fafries F20 Max, all the stuff's in the description. And next episode is going to be the one where we finish the airbag conversion. What do you think?
Yeah.
We'll see you then.
Bye. We're raffling off this F20 Max.